this evening as a privilege to invite you. You say where two or more people are stationed or gathering, you are present. Lord, you are welcome at this meeting. Ask that you would be with us during this meeting. Give us intuition as to how to present this, and for those that are going to be speaking, the ability to do a really fine job. Lord, we just ask that. And I also want to praise you, Lord, for helping our founding fathers put together a country where we can speak of you and we can speak of politics without any sort of fear of retribution. Although there are sides in this country that would like to do that, but we do have a constitution, Lord. So be with us, Lord, as we go through this meeting, and I pray this in Jesus' name. We'll do the pledge now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Patty, you might as well come up here.
Hi, you guys. Thank you, Lyle, for allowing me to speak. So some of you have gotten the invitation, some have not, and but this is an invitation for everybody. We will be doing a hand count simulation. Again, we did it last October. Some of you were involved in that. We did it at the courthouse, and it was in conjunction with our county clerk. It went incredibly well. She said it was a failure, but it was not. Any of you were there. It was not a failure, was it? It was great, and I loved what one of the commissioners said to me. It was a good foundation, because how do you know what works if you don't try it? And then you find out, okay, this needs to be changed or this needs to be changed. And there were a lot of things we were asked to do that we kept saying, this isn't going to work, and we were right. It did not work. But I want to say that the hand counting bills in the legislature, there were a few, and the two they call them the Moab, mother of all bills, were to totally get rid of the machines and institute hand counting. Now, wasn't a favorite with some of the people that I work with when I said, I was asked by one of our legislators before the session, do you think that's really possible this year? And I went, no, it's not. We're not ready to totally get rid of the machines and move fully into hand counting. We could be if people were willing to do it, but we know that's not going to happen. So those bills are still going to be considered by the Corporation's Elections Committee. I was just there in Lander Thursday and Friday for their meeting, and very strongly that committee is amazing. It is totally stacked with people that agree that we have problems in our elections and with our machines and everything. And so thankfully, the Senate side is not the case. We have one senator who's pretty much in that, on that page, but the representatives fully on board except for one. He's Mike Yin, who's the Democrat, he gets to sit on most committees because he's one of the single Democrats. So he always votes no on everything. But they are going to, there will be some other bill or another bill that is a step towards that. And that step is truly getting us on base. And that is allowing us to audit, to use the machines first, and then to audit the machine count. And probably, I know last session it was 10% of the precincts, which we have 23 precincts, so that would probably be 3. Hopefully they would round that way up, and we would do 3 precincts, random precincts that they select, so they can get all their numbers in and everything's done quickly and you can have your answer that night. But then in the next couple of days, I guess, I'm not sure the time frame, they would take those random, hopefully 3 precincts in Campbell County, obviously all over the state, and they would do hand counts of those ballots for those precincts. That is, I don't know about any of you guys, but that is such a huge, huge hopeful victory for us, unbelievably hopeful victory. We've been working on this for me, 4 years, so that's exciting. What we need is, and it was asked by Chris Knapp, is our wonderful, wonderful legislator who is the co-chairman of that committee. He's the chairman for the House side. And he had asked me, I work with him a lot on this, and he asked us to do another hand count demonstration, test, simulation, whatever you want to call it, the right way, the way that our group, as we have worked with people all around the country, have come. There are many different systems, but this system seems to be the best system and the fastest and easiest. And so that's what we are proposing. If they decide to go with it, that's up to the clerks or the Secretary of State to decide how they're going to do it. But we can show them this system and how it's done. Lois is going to be recording it and editing it, and they will use that for the legislators and the clerks to be able to look and watch the video of the hand counting of how easy it is. And I know several, Wanda, you were there, Susan, weren't you? I look around, several of you. Was it easy? It was super, super easy. Yes, Lois. Well, thank you. And we want to be able to share that so they can all see how it's done. So it will be done the right way, the easy way, and showing them they can do that. So that is scheduled for 2 days, May 28th and 29th. The 28th, Wednesday, and it's at the library. The 28th, we'll be doing the primary, I'm using my own precinct, Mark's in my precinct. You guys are in our, no, yes, you're in our precinct, yes. And so it's a larger precinct, so we wanted other places, like Sheridan County has counted the ballots, they did a couple hundred. Well, this will be 800 ballots for the general election because it's very complicated. So I need at least 50 people to help on this because they're saying, well, yeah, you can count just a few ballots, but we have to count all these ballots. So again, it's taking their objections and showing them, overcoming those objections by showing them how it can be done. And so the 28th will be a training, so anybody who has not done it before, you can be trained the morning of the 28th. And we'll also be doing our primary election, which was a very simple ballot and very few. So that'll be easy, very, very simple, easy on Wednesday morning. And then Thursday's the big day, and don't panic when I say this. I'm just asking people to be prepared to be there from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. We will provide lunch and dinner, but what happened when we did it at the courthouse is I was not told that we could go past 5, and I assume it closed at 5. I told everybody we'd be done by 5, and then found out, oh, we weren't quite done, and I shut it off at that point because I wasn't going to ask people to stay longer than what I had asked them in the beginning, if that makes any sense. So this time I'm trying to give a lot of extra time, plan to be there a full 12-hour day, and it should not. If we have enough people, each team will count 100 ballots, and that should be able to be done in 4 or 5 hours. And anyway, if you are willing to help, please, I am begging people to help. You can ask Mark, I have been a basket case because that's the biggie. I am working night and day preparing everything for it. My big concern is, are we going to have enough people? So please, if you can spare that time, please, please come and help. And just let me know and I will get you the information. It's a long story. So basically, our clerk, Cindy, gave me parameters that weren't realistic. And I understood what she was asking for, but it couldn't be done realistically the way she was asking me to do it. And we tried, and we tried really hard, but we need to do it the way it ought to be done. basically, she wanted us to count all 23 precincts, 5 absentee ballots, 5 early voting ballots, and 20 regular ballots, and lots, way more mistakes. Part of it is my fault. We put more mistakes on the ballots than we should have put on, but also every 5 ballots, you had to change your thinking, when in reality, you get in a mode, you get in a groove, and you just keep going, and your brain just starts working that way. So you need to do 100 ballots. That is way more. I don't know if that's the right English, but yes, a much more efficient way to do it. We see, okay, sorry, I said 10 minutes. The biggest problem in Wyoming is that you are not allowed to look at the ballots. The actual physical ballot that you put your little circles on, they are designed to go into the machine, and by our statute, which makes no sense whatsoever, you cannot put essentially human eyes or human hands on those ballots again. I mean, you have to take them out of the machine, but that's it. So we can't go find those ballots and recreate them or use them. So we had to just mark all brand new ballots, and we did it on the regular 20-pound paper, the pink sample ballots, things like that that mess with your eyes. So we're doing this as realistically as we can. Literally, the regular ballot is 80-pound paper. That was costing $100 a ream. I wasn't willing to pay that because at this point comes out of my pocket unless people are willing to help donate. And so we did 65-pound paper. So again, it's going to be close. Chris Knapp is running the copies, and unfortunately his copy machines, evidently the ballots are not 8.5 or 8.5 by 14. They're something like maybe 10 by 16. I don't know, I haven't gone and measured them, but he found out they're not the exact size. We wanted them as close to it as absolutely possible. They'll be on white paper rather than pink. They still have the sample written across it because legally we could not pretend we have a ballot that was an actual ballot. Helen.
About how many do you have so far to help you?
I have about 30. And I need, wow, I'm sweating. I need 50. Thank you. It's like, poof. So yes. And those people, the people that I have are from Crook County, Sheridan County, Weston County, possibly Sweetwater County. I mean, these are people who are concerned about our elections, and they're willing to travel that far to help and participate in this hand count. That's how crucially important it is if you want fair elections. Few from Campbell would be good.
Okay, thank you, Patty. That was great. And next we have Mr. Jack Clary. He's going to come up and give us the information on City Council. Here you go, Jack.
Thank you very much, Lyle. For who don't know me, my name is Jack Clary. I'm the City Council for Ward 2. And right now we're in the middle of budget season. And I want to go over 3 or 4 topics that I know is near and dear to everybody's heart and let you know where it's at. Let's talk a little bit about the bridge, go to the overpass bridge. Right now there's 3 options being promoted. One is about $12 million estimated cost, and that's just with the overlay, not a complete bridge. The second one is about $16 million, which incorporates a ADA and a walking path to it. Still not a whole bridge, just the deck. And right now the estimate for a new bridge is running between $40 and $45 million. Now, when that was brought forth the budget meeting last Tuesday night, I said, where are we gonna get this money from? $40 million, who's got it? I said, the community's not a bank. I'll stand by that statement as long as I'm able to breathe. So Mike Cole, the administrator, we've got to look for different funding, federal or whatever it is. And I met with him just this afternoon about that topic. So I know he's worked diligently hard to try and find other funding to help get this bridge built. Even if we do option 1, we still don't have the money available. We're still going to be short. So that's where we're at right now. Can't make no promise, nor will I make a promise, but I do know they're actually looking at that bridge. Okay? The second topic I want to talk about, you probably saw people's names in the paper, was over the women's reproductive health. I saw funding in that budget for $130,000. And I asked a simple question of my colleagues. I said, are we pro-life or pro-choice as a group? Well, I kind of got told that we can't bring any partisanship in it. But the whole thing comes down to it, we're not a partisan group in the first place. It's how you think. If you are pro-life, you don't want to fund this, guarantee it. You look at other resources in this community, Women's Resource Center. Yeah, there's a few things they cannot do, but the majority of it they can do. And I'm very pro-life, and I'll do everything in my power to stop this funding. Our ministries went forth and put a letter together, Pastor Vigors, with a lot of people signed, pastors signed it. They went up and spoke to that Tuesday night. Now, I don't know how they'll resonate with the rest of the council people, but I can tell you it was well-written, well-supported, and the only thing left to do, we need to get the community involved behind this, because this is, for me, a strong win we have to have. We cannot do this in Gillette. Okay. The other thing that's near and dear to my heart, and Michael agreed with me, is economic development funding. It's about $130,000 annually. And I've been here for 27 years. They really haven't showed me much in 2 decades. So my question is to them, what do we keep funding them for? Why? And I get, well, they had mismanagement and all this kind of stuff and COVID, which is all true. But are we going to just keep putting money in a rat hole, or are we going to hold them accountable? And I think today, when I brought this up to Mike, and again, give him all the credit, he's going to put some guardrails on this and have them report on a monthly basis back to the council. Let's look at progress, because they're going to want funding next year and the year after. They'll, I don't know when, they'll quit. But my position, it's got to stop. It's taxpayers' dollars. And that's what we're responsible for, is taxpayer dollars. Okay? The other thing I want to talk about, another hot topic, but not today, but in the future. There was a placeholder for new softball fields, a tune of $10 million. And of course, you know, I stand up and said, where are we going to get this funding? We can't even fund a bridge. We can't do a lot of these roads and streets and things, right? So Mike Cole again stepped up and said, we can't not do this. We got to get additional funding from somewhere. It can't come out of the budget. There's no money there. So this is the problem, and I'm ready to fight with them. Will I get far? No, but you know something? I know I got the majority of the community behind me, and that's what's important to me. Yeah, I'll be on record. Thank you. So you guys have any questions at all I can answer on this? It was mentioned. I haven't seen anything yet. But when it does, you guys can weigh in on this at the council meeting. And I encourage people to come to the council meetings and listen. Weigh on these ordinances. Weigh on a lot of these things. Because, again, it's the way you can start people's thinking differently. And that's what needs to take place. I cannot do it by myself, or Chris Smith can't do it by himself. We need everybody if we're going to steer this ship in a little different direction. Well, I think they got in their head that they're not going to go after the community for any money. Okay, that's what I see. And that's what I voted for, voted it down. But we did get an RFP out to do the proper engineering of a bridge, so we know it's not done by binoculars, you know? And you laugh, that was what I got in my report. But they are going to hire structural engineers. They're going to look at all the loads under tension, which is the correct way to do it, and see what's going on. It's much more technical than just saying, I want a bridge, right? And if you're going to make statements that things are going to cave in, well, one way you get that is good engineering, structural information. And unfortunately, I'm not a structural engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer, but I do understand some facets of engineering. That's what you go to school for. You learn all kinds of things, right? Yes.
I see you're having, the city's having workshops this week. Would it be good for us to attend those?
Yes, I forgot to bring that up. You're right. We have a workshop tomorrow night on the second phase of the budget at 6 o'clock, the second floor of City Hall. Again, I strongly encourage you to come up there, listen, and bring pen and paper and write down the topics and who is trying to do what, so you know what we need to do in the future. And also, wait a minute, we also got one Thursday night at 6 o'clock, and I'll wrap it up. I got the number out in my car, I didn't bring it with me, but the number is like about 1.3 million, 1.4 million, something like that. And I think there's, they range from Gabriel Project to Boys and Girls Club, Salvation Army. I can't remember them all, but if you want, I got that sheet in my truck, in my car. That's a good question. As I look at the list from my own eyes, okay, there are some things that need to get funded. There it is, but not all of them. And that has been my debate when I first got this list a couple of weeks ago. And we're still not done, because I talked to Mike today. I said, we need to complete that run on that list, because I think he's still got some things funded that we need to talk about. And that's why I encourage everybody to come Tuesday night and Thursday. Jerry? That's right, he's correct. The senior center has a unique issue. Right now, we serve a lot of congregate meals, and we charge right now $4.50. Produce that meal every day, it's a little over $15. So that's a quite delta. And for the in-house, people that can't get out, we charge them about $6, and that's about $21 for that meal. The time you buy this special apparatus to keep that food cold or hot. So you can see the money we're losing. So what we've done on our end is raise that price up to $6, I think $8 for the in-house people, and also transportation. We run our buses around town. Right now it's $2 one way, $4 round trip. We jumped up to $3 and $6 round trip. Now there's some differential if you want to go out of town or stuff like that, which I can't remember off the top of my head. Mark discussed that on Vic's radio this morning, but it's substantial. So we did ask for money from the county and the city. It's not going to help offset our costs, but at least help us for a while so we don't have to drain what we have. Because the senior center is important. Somebody's going to need, everybody's going to need a senior someday in their life, right? For a walker or a wheelchair or food. So I really feel strongly that got to keep funded, and thank you, Jerry, for bringing that up. Well, I need to add to this so everybody understands the gravity for these people at the center. If you go to have lunch there, you'll see some of the people split their lunch in half. Half for dinner, half for lunch. They'll take a carton of milk home for their cereal in the morning. That's how it's so hard for these people to survive. And what little we do is greatly appreciated, but we cannot give up. We must succeed. That's all I wanted to add up, Mary. Thank you.
One of the things I noticed, that's something that a lot of us do not agree with.
And you're right. As this moment in time, I don't think we even get the nod to go over that 5%. It was discussed. But it's, so right now, that's staying where it's at. Now, that could change tomorrow night. But again, I don't support going over 5%. I support cutting some of these funds away so you don't have to exceed that number.
But there's only two that object to it. The rest of them are like, we've done it before. Just sweep it under the rug.
George?
You sure you want to call me?
Well, I don't know.
I got a couple questions. Number one, all these are.
Correct.
As far as I know, when we have our meetings, budget meetings like last Tuesday night, we cover line item by line item. Now, at the end of the day, since I'm new to this, I don't know if they do the exact thing lumping in so you can't take one out. I don't know that, George. I could find out. You mean on the council?
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say there's two of us.
They spoke.
Just that don't want.
Is the mayor for that?
He voted for it.
Did he? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I know that two of them really got upset with me. And,
Who got upset with you?
well, I'll talk to you later about
Okay,
that.
well,
I don't want to,
Well, why can't we say it?
we're not what we want in this community.
and I've heard that from other people, George. So that's the reason why I brought it up, why I want to defund it, and why I back our ministry 150%. Only thing I'm asking is everybody that goes to their church, get behind their pastor and tell them no. That's the only way we're going to change this. We got to do it in numbers. 1, 2, 3 people is not going to cut it. As you well know, being in public office, groups speak loudly.
Well, and they've been doing it for, they
That's correct. And also, they get funded from the federal government, I believe, and also the state. And I don't know if they fundraise or not, so that's a fair statement when you say, no, they don't, or they do. But I know we do cover a lot of this stuff for the women at the Resource Center. And I would strongly ask them if they need that, go to the Women's Resource Center first. See what they got to offer. Because it's crucial to look at how hard they work, get the money to be able to help them. Well, I think if they do anything with rezoning, again, I know you've done a lot of work, and your husband and other people, I thank you for it, but again, it takes more people. It takes more people.
That's why I'm saying it.
Yeah, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good, appreciate it. Okay, I need to give the mic to Mr. Jordan,
Well,
or who else?
I get it first.
Okay, I didn't know that. Well, I'm trying to help you out.
Well, a couple of things. Couple of things that Jack pointed out are very good information. I want to give a attaboy to Women's Resource Center. They have never taken government funding. And there was a time when money was really short over there, and there were a couple of people on the board that wanted government funding, and they were voted down on that. Women's Resource Center paid for that center through your generous donations in this community. And the people visiting that center, they aren't charged for anything. There's no sliding fee. There is nothing on that. And they have, I don't know, Mary, how many children do you suppose Women's Resource Centers save from abortion? How many students?
I can't remember the exact number, but I know it's enough to fill more than an elementary school.
Yeah, it's approaching 2 now.
Yeah, there you go.
That's 2 elementary schools, saved babies, okay? This is employment for janitors, teachers, lawn care people, you name it, construction people. This is employment. And not only that, but you probably save lives of mayors and government representatives and police officers and teachers. How many people have we killed that could have been a contribution to society? And then you said pregnant men, but I think you meant that as a joke. I had a client 3 years ago, was in my office, and he was really distraught because he and his partner had premarital sex and they conceived a baby. He was trying to reach an agreement with her to pay all of the doctor visits until birth and then take over and assume parenting of the child. She went and had an abortion and he committed suicide. What about the dads? What about, where do our rights go? Where do they begin? Where do they end? It's awful. Yes.
I'm sure you know this, Lyle, but we have a really strong fatherhood program.
Yes, you do. Yeah. And we suggested that he go there, but he didn't. He chose the other path instead. So the other thing, and then I'm going to turn this over to Robert. Gillette Reproductive, whatever it's called. I guess what I'm wondering is, and I'm supposed to be standing in a certain location. Yeah, quit wandering. Where does it come off where the government has to give private entities money? Why? Women's Resource Center paid for itself. And they did it very, very well. They did it. What's the organization, the other one that they want money, the Campbell County Planning. Yeah, okay. They used to be down the hall from where my office is. I watched them for 10 years there. They didn't do anything. They didn't. So again, another private entity. Are they a government association organization? Economic development? No, they don't belong to the city government or the county government. Economic development. They're a private entity. Yeah. Gillette is a very, very generous community. if they really wanted to spend their energies, they could go out, they could find the money to run their organization. And if they're economic development, they could be seeking funds from private corporations that would be probably happy to donate funds to them to inspire economic development. I'm not wrong, am I? Okay, where's Bob? Okay, it's your turn. Jerry. Come on up. Yeah. Well, as he's, yeah, and you can actually give the floor to your partner.
Hey, Jerry, we'll make this duet, or you just want to stand back there? We work as a team. I actually work for Jerry.
You guys gotta use the mic for.
Tell me when you want the mic. So it's budget season, all right? And boy, is it interesting. I saw it last year, and then the last 2 or 3 years, Jerry and I have been watching before we got into office. And we've seen some, let's just call it the game, okay? And it's out there. So we talk about the 1%. Campbell County only gets $8 million of the 1%. 8.4, I think, is the target this year. We've spent right up to 8 million allocating it where it needs to go. 1.3 million of that goes to like Child Development Center, Senior Citizen Center, down the right to help the senior citizens down there, stuff like that. So that's where that pretty much goes. The other 7 million goes to infrastructure, fire department, sheriff's department, roads, special projects for infrastructure. So most of Campbell County's money actually goes to infrastructure. That's decided by Jeremy.
You're out of zone.
So that's our budget. Last year, we had a $145 million budget. 5 million that was set aside for Camplex and their savings account for maintenance. And we added some more money back in for projects last year. So we've been actually down to 135, 136. This year, we asked to hold the line. So our design was to hold the line on the budget, which means you take away the 5 million, it's 140 million. But 16 million of that was capital projects. And if you look back over the last 3 or 4 years, capital projects run 15, 16 million. Prior to that, capital projects were 5 to 6 million over the 10-year period. The problem was the money's allocated, but it gets spent, and that's where it's supposed to be spent. It just kind of whittles away in little projects. So Jerry and I have set a direction that we only want no more than $8 million a year going to capital projects. Those projects are heavily monitored. And he'll tell you some of the details that we require for that when we get these projects. Every project be done, we want no carryover. And we want the big $1 million projects done first. So one of the projects we have to get done is a pronghorn out here, and the pronghorn was kind of a trap. Pronghorn, who knows about the Pronghorn Industrial Park? Nobody knows about it? So 2014, the land was purchased by the county commissioners at the time to set up a economic industrial site. They went and got grants from the federal government, and they also got grants from the state. This is the trap that we got into. We got here and we found out that we can't get out of it. Contracts have been signed. We're stuck with it. So now we want it done off the books. Originally, we wanted to be done to the entire thing set up. We'd have lots built, sewer, water, electrical, and roads. And those entities that set this up wanted us to build this stuff. Well, we've come to conclusions now. We're going to put the road right to it, complete that grant, get it off. The city's going to, or not city, not city, the Wyoming industrial people, business development people will then put the rest of infrastructure in. So we're going to get paid back on a grant. I think we're still going to be short after the grant. 800,000 due to inflation. This is that trap. This has been going on now for 10 to 11 years. As long as I'm there, we're not going to do no more of those deals. All right? I'm kind of a little fed up with it. This is the games that are played. When that land was supposed to be done, along with the Centennial section, was supposed to be an industrial area, they were going to want to donate to Energy Capital Economic Development, ECED. So we're supposed to give them the land to develop. Now, ECED is a nonprofit. Okay? So the way it's set up is They do have subscribers coming in. Everybody joins the $10,000 subscription, whatever. And then, of course, city and the county put money in. We have a seat at the table, talk to them what they want. We have utilities involved, coal mines involved, all these people involved. The problem is, their mission for 20 years was to develop internal economy in Gillette. There's no capital internal to Gillette to do this. The internal development funding came from the city and the county. Their job was to push and develop and lobby for projects, to them to have their friends or whatever, partners, whatever, or whatever in the community to build these projects out and develop the economy that way. Your taxpayer dollars are supposed to stimulate the economy through projects. All right, that's the Camplex. That would have been a child development center. That would have been healthcare. That would have been, what else? Oh, what else was there? All these projects have been built in the last 10 years, over the last 15, 20 years actually, was to develop the economy internally. That's where your tax dollars went. So how much is that between 05 and 15 alone, outside the normal budget, outside the normal operations with inflation, $650 million. Give or take 10 million, let's not quibble. 119 million that went to the college. We had, at that time, we had 1% sales taxes. We're getting 8 million now. They were getting 18 to 22 million they were spending. The average budget sitting inside the contingency fund for county commissioners should run 40 to 50 million over 10 years. It's 190 million. Capital, as Jerry and I are working on now, should be 8 million a year. It's 80 million over 10 years. They had 222 million. So a lot of things were built from 05 to 15, this community. Question is, are we getting our dollars worth? One was a Camplex. You voted in 20 million, come to be 45 million. We had a rec center. Who knows what the cost is? We're gonna actually kind of look at this because we can't recoup no money. I want to know how it was done so we don't do it again. Any big project should be voted on by people in the community. That's just the way it should be, all right? So we're working on the capital. Our capital through the next 4 years, we will be spending between 30 and 40 million dollars to fix everything in Campbell County. Everything. That means nothing gets built new till we get it fixed. We have a new board coming in 2 years. We're gonna need another county commissioner to fill in. There's 3 spots coming open. We need to get at least one more to make sure it happens. Kurt, how you doing back there?
I'm doing fine.
Thanks, Kurt. We need people who's willing to run for office, sit on boards. We have to have people engage. Not just people because they think, well, you know, this is what we want to do. No, this is an entire business model being redone and revamped the way it should be. We have audits going on. The last audit was in 22-23, was an election year. That audit just got done last November. We're that far behind, 2 years. This year we'll get a 23-24 done. Should be by August. Then we have to have our other one done by November. It'll be a little bit over. Our job is to get our audits done. Got a whole bunch of challenges to that. We'll get it done. As for the budget, this year we, in addition to margin, taking our capital down, people say, well, services were cut. No, services were not cut. Okay, we cut 3% last year to budget. This year we held the line. In addition to holding the line, we realized we have a severe loss of skill in the county. We've never hired back from 3 years ago. We had a large amount of people retiring, so we had to give some more wages and get that back up. We got to save people. So we had to do that. So our goal, we held the line, gave a raise, and control capital. We can maintain that budget. The problem we got is we always got players in the county who just don't quite understand what hold the line means. And my position is they can't hold the line this year. There might be a cut coming next year, and here's a reason. We were at $5.7 billion assessed value 2 years ago. We're at $4.8 billion now. So we've lost 16% of our assessment. We only cut 3% and we optimized our operations. We've given everything what it should be. The county can run about 90 million stripped, but the services we require, about 125 to 135 million. So I think over that, we're just gonna have to watch. Inflation's killing us. We see bids come in, you're like, there's no way that piece of equipment costs that much money. We've got some of the departments reworking equipment, rebuilding equipment, or going without equipment or sharing equipment. We're not cutting services. There's a lot of places in this county where it can be trimmed off and become more efficient. It's gonna be a volatile next 10, 15 years with our energy policy. We haven't got a clue what it looks like. We have some ideas, but we're not quite sure where it's going. But there's people in this town that want to build out, and Jerry can share with you the kind of numbers that we're looking at. And they have no intention of quitting doing this. So we better get that board, and we've been next election better count. Because if they get enough votes, they'll do things like just abnormal elections, what do you call those? The one elections we have out of season. Can't remember what they're called now. Special elections, they want to have those in like August, September, when everybody's gone. They want those. They want to raise the tax mill to 12. This last year, for 45 years, it's been above 11. Our board this year, last year, took it down 10.95. The first time in history, Campbell County were below 11. And people are not happy. Okay? But the reality was it proved that you can lower taxes a little bit, and you can continue your spending. If the top tax mill is 12, we consistently being told you need to go to 12. All right? There's no way our community can, I believe if it goes 12, you guys should vote for it. Only 2 counties in the state is not at 12. It's Campbell County and Teton. That's the only 2. Everybody else is maxed out. I'll let Jerry talk.
Bob didn't tell you why those other counties are maxed out. They don't have oil, gas, and coal like we're fortunate to have. Even in our commissioners, they can't understand after we give the taxpayers a 25% break on property tax. I was done statewide. Well, we'll just get it back by going back to 12 mil. Is that what you want? Or should we learn, like I guarantee everybody in this room has learned to live within their means. So government should learn to live within their means. And when Bob's talking about traps, we fell into one at the airport when they got rid of the FBO. And then the county had to step in for a temporary, so that we still had flights going in and out of Gillette. During that process, we told them, start searching for a new FBO. The county does not need to be in business. We have enough things to take care of as a county. And I always go with safety, well-maintained, clean community, clean county. Those should be our priorities. Not whether or not we're in business. One of the things that we found out with the Pronghorn Industrial Park is, why are we trying to promote business? When every business that's in Gillette now came for one reason. They wanted to be in Gillette and there were jobs. Whether it was oil, gas, and coal, they never needed our help to solicit them into Gillette. They came here because there was coal, oil, and gas. In the market, the world needed our resources. So before I go on, I want to hear what you all have to say. Because if you're all not wanting to get on these boards, it's going to be hell to pay in this community. Because it's a constant fight from day one. And like I told Bob, I've only been there 120 days now. And it's an eye-opening process. And without your support, we're going to go right back to where we was at, no matter how much fight Jack, Bob, and I have. And there's a guy that keeps hiding behind that lady in pink. You're going to step forward, cowboy. So there's a lot of great people in this room. Be willing to step up on these boards and be willing to commit to making this the community that you want. Yes, Jack.
Bob, talk about the college. That's been a battle as well, funding and college drama. Yeah, that's a little bit for everybody on that one.
These two guys up here probably, if you read in the obituary that we committed suicide, it's a lie.
Both strong swimmers.
But the thing is with the police or sheriff's department, they showed up and they wanted a $5 million gun range. No plans, no drawings. So what we end up in those traps that start at $5 million, then it's $7 million, then it's $10 million. And our policy between Bob and myself is don't present anything to us that you don't have a plan of what you want to do, not an idea. Ideas are very costly because they have no end. And in reference to Jack's Bridge there, from day one when I was going to a city council meeting, I says, if you're not going to present a schematic for the people to view, why in the world would they ever vote on it? So those are just traps that never have an end to spending. College. College is a great one. When they showed up for that $1 million, there were 3 commissioners voted no. You talk about shocked looks. Somebody actually said no. And I can guarantee you that my policy, unless we're going to take care of the problems that we got now, because one of the things that I've come to understand is we're way behind on maintenance of the structures that we have. And that's a never-ending catching up process. And what I've proposed with our public works is show me where we're at on all the maintenance on our buildings, HVACs, boilers, roofs, whatever, the things that we have to maintain. So when we're maintaining these things, we know where we're at. And it's no different than all the other facilities. Bicentennial, we appropriated this is where I got there, 1.4 million for to fix the drainage in between the softball parks. Bicentennial, between the softball fields. Yeah, nobody even went and shot the project. 1.4 will solve the problem. And so what my proposal is, put together the drawings so we know where we're at, what we're going to have to maintain in the future, and put it out over a 5, 6, 7, 8 year deal where we do so much each year to maintain what we have. When all your bills are paid and all your equipment is paid off, what's left over belongs to you before IRS gets it.
Once you've taken care of the infrastructure yet?
That's a great question. How many people drive on 59, the interstate? All those structures are still there. All we do is redeck them. I'm sorry. That's basically all we do is redeck them.
Gary, do you think the push for building the 12 mil is kind of a backdoor to get the government funding? Because they can't get the funding if they don't go to 12 mil.
No, actually 12 mils going, because there's a shopping list of projects. Jerry and I did a number one day here about a year ago. Hey, thank you. So Jerry, how much was in projects on the shopping list we talked about a year ago?
What you invest in lights?
300 million or $750 million.
$2 billion. Probably not with inflation. So they have their shopping list of projects they want. So if you look at what the complex would be is 200 million, if it had passed. School 150 is $350 million, $50 million for, and the NZ Center, that's 400 million. And then it'd have been probably it's gonna be over 40 million for the aquatic center. Then we got another arena they want to build in town for another 35, 40 million. So you're staring at $500 million so you can get off the track of all these entities with the stuff built. And if they go to 12 mil, they have the actual money to do it. Not much more, because we go to 12 mil between the energy and what happens with energy and what comes into also our tax, it's only about $12 million more. So if we go to 12 mil, and we have this cycle of energy issues, you'll be up and down every year. You'll be able to catch your budget. You'll be laying people off, trying to hire people back. So the trick is you stay below that 12 mil and eventually an emergency or something, you figure it out. So we're 5.7 billion assessment 2 years ago. 4 years ago, we were 4 or 5 years ago, we were at 3.3 billion. That's how much this thing cycles. Okay, so people, and this is a challenge working with these people that do this stuff. And going back to ECED, The EEC was trying to develop business internally using governments, city and county. They have been challenged this last year, and Jerry supported him, this didn't support him, I did support him this 1 year, because one more year, for a reason, they do have 2 very good projects in the works, non-nuclear projects. If they do not produce next year, my vote won't be there. I actually changed my vote this year, and I said, no, you can't change it. The money's gonna go to develop these projects, outside capital coming in. Hodgkin consensus, outside capital coming in. If we're gonna do anything for this town, it's gonna be outside capital. It's the only way to do it. Until last year, ECD was not looking for outside capital. They're doing all internally. Their friends are sitting at the board table, they pick their people at the boards, they're getting the money pulled in, projects going out, everybody's happy, but you, the taxpayer, paying $50 million for a $25 million project. All right, people told me one day, well, that's not true. You don't want to, $100 million, no, I know what a $100 million project looks like. Okay, that's what you build in 9 years, you build $1.2 billion. I know what a $100 million project looks like. So when they bring this stuff in, like, no, a project out there at the Bicentennial, Jerry and I, if we would just mess around for a couple of weeks with the backhoe, we probably could have got the grade right and put it where it needs to be. That's not a $1.4 million project. Okay, it's just not. But that's the way they present it. So they presented last year 1.4 million. It took 660,000 off to put towards the waste dump, which they needed to. The dump had to have a liner. Then they come back and ask the rest of the money for a different project. So one of the lights fixed out Bicentennial Park for 550,000. That was what it was. Okay, to replace lights. Now I'm looking on the internet the whole time, realize these are $300 lights. Do the math on 150 lights. That's a long way from $550,000. So when a project comes in, it's either overpriced or they move the money someplace else that you never get to see it. And every year I have a project list going back 5 years. And 75% of those projects are still on that list from 5 years ago, and I can tell you how much money was spent. About $65 million. We've got elevators that need to be fixed. Down, we prioritize. This is stuff's gonna get fixed with plans, with bids, and with direction. We're just not gonna hand cash out. Well, just give me $1 million, I'll show you what I can do with it. And it's all over this county. Okay? So, any questions? Sure.
The buildings that the county owns, that the college uses, does the county get revenue from that at all?
I think there's a
who does the
slight,
maintenance?
okay, there's a slight rental on that. So actually, when this was all built, they can get 200,000 a year, give or take, from this fund that was set aside. We set aside, I think, 10 million for them. That goes, every year that gets that 200,000 to them. The $119 million was set aside for construction, whatever, through 05 till 2017.
Who's they and them?
Give it, go ahead.
You said that, they and them, who's getting the money or what?
The county commissioners back when set aside a fund,
Right.
10 million. It's a maintenance fund we maintain.
Okay.
They get 200,000 sent to those buildings, okay,
To the college.
to college. We still own those buildings.
We get whatever cities.
Yeah, that's right. Right. It's been running about 200,000, actually a percentage of return, so whatever is in the marketplace. Sometimes 200, sometimes more, sometimes less, but they get that money. We spent $119 million going to the college in those 10 years. We still own those buildings. The college came to us two months ago. They said they were generous. They wanted the buildings given to them. They wanted the $10 million maintenance fund given to them. And then what else they wanted? Oh, they wanted, something else they wanted. The A2A. Oh, so there was an A2A put together with the city of Gillette. The A2A is action to action. The college was there. City of Gillette was there. One commissioner was there. And economic development was there. And they came to the conclusion they needed to have all the land transferred to them. And they wanted us to give them $380,000 for a one-time set so they could develop their businesses. I think that was a hearty no, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Boy, they're full of jokes.
This is what Bob and I got going on. Campbell County Bank is closed.
Yes. And so is a drive-up window. No more side deals, no more side hustles. And we intend to take this act on the road. we're gonna be down, we're gonna be doing podcasts, we'll do anything we can for any town hall meetings, we'll be going to Wright. And we're gonna start talking to people, say, hey, this is what's going on. And, yes,
Which commissioner gave them the idea that was a go?
which part of this, all
You
this?
said there was one commissioner that was part of that group.
Oh, the support the college's generosity to them?
That we give them everything.
Let's see. You know, so when you work in, Campbell County is a county of 47,000 people. The county only gets for our revenues of 12,000 people. Everybody inside the city of Gillette takes a bigger part of the tax base. Okay, and then Wright gets a smaller part, so all based entirely on population. So it's been a challenge to try and keep this accountability going. They just want more and more of this money. And of course, they want us to put in $1 million, city put in $1 million, and a private donor put in $1 million for the NC Center development, I guess. But I heard a mistake. We need to be a private and a public relationship. These are not our partners. Okay? The college came to us and said, hey, give us this money. Okay? So we'd have to raise our budget, maybe mess with our mill levy. They're sitting at 2.5 or 2.85 mil. They promised never be above 2.50. Okay? So they want us to take one for the team while they continue to build out. And that's really generous. I'm a selfish person, and forgive me, pray for me, okay? Because this is not going to happen, folks. They need to go to full mill. Because you know what? They got it. They're going to take everybody else's money until they can get 4 mil. Go to 4 mil. In fact, they can go to 5 mil. They can go to 5 mil. Every single two-year college in the state of Wyoming is at 5 mil right now. LCCC is at 6. That was voted in by the public. Once you go by 5, you have to vote in public short-term construction. Go there. I know they made promises. They'll never go above 2.5. They're 2.85 now. Take one with the team, suck up your reputation, and go to 5 and just end the pain. And then go build on your merry little happy road and quit asking us for money.
I don't believe in that one little bit. They can, when we were building the aquatic center, the first thing that happened at a school board meeting was the college can use this. That means we want a college swim team. At the Camplex, at a land board meeting, and I happened to be on my way back, and I was coming back from Greeley, dropped out of some rodeos, wasn't feeling good, but I was on the phone for the meeting, and it got brought up, well, if we build this hockey rink, it will work for the college. And I used some very choice words on the phone, and my wife says, you cannot talk like that. I said, I bet they understood what I meant, though. So the thing is, everything comes with a disguise. You have to be willing to pry, dig into it, to make sure when somebody's talking to you, that the honest to God mean what they're saying, not assumption. Because this is your community. And I guarantee you a group of people in Gillette was more than willing to spend every dime you got for whatever dreams they have. Are they the same as yours?
So what I'm saying about the college is, it's a game, people. All right? They want their college the way they want it. They got their tax mill levy. At some point, they're going to raise it. I don't care what they tell us, what they tell you they're going to do. They're going to do it at some point. Quit asking the county for money. Quit asking the city for money. You went on your own. You had a special election in August. Okay, when everybody was gone to the rally and took their summer off, I'm not against education. My family's fairly well educated. I got 8th grade behind me, all right? So I'm just telling you guys that right now, they need to go do what they're going to do. Quit coming back to county and city. We are not partners. Partners, we sit across the table, we both got something to give. We get nothing on this except for money. And I'm not going to fall for that trap. And they're sure not going to get the buildings until something changes. Nor are they going to, no, they did volunteer that if they, instead of taking the 10 million, they would give it to them. They want to keep it inside our funds. That's not going to happen. They're not going to have no seat at the table, no chair at the table, deciding how that money's to be invested. Once that starts with future commissioners, you don't know what kind of mess it's going to be. These people are after your money every single day. I don't care. I mean, they do, in their minds, do great things in communities. I'm sure they think their heart's in the right place. They will take every dime you can to build this town out. And there's not enough money. Unless something comes in this town that's big enough support that any growth we have, there's not gonna be enough money. And they finally, a year and a half, 2 years ago, Jerry and I have been talking about this for a long time. And we've been put down and there's been a lot of negative comments about it. And now they're finally going, oh my, not only at city level, but at state level. There's a math issue. There's a deficit. Yes, Jack?
One thing we've got option for is remember 2026. That's what's gotta happen. We need change. And we can stand it all day and talk about it, but we need more people, like-minded people, if you're gonna turn this community around. So I encourage you, look who's voting for what, and what issue, and take it to 26.
So we're at the election and this community vote spoke. I think it was 14,000 people voted down the Camplex, 5,000 for it. The community spoke. And I'm telling you, the very next meeting after that, they were asking us to take our $350 million reserve and give it to them. And they were asking us for more money for more projects. It didn't matter what the people thought, it didn't matter what the vote was. They're back here asking for money.
And I don't know how you all feel about it, but when somebody tells me my community's not smart enough to make the decisions, we need to make the decisions for you. And as I recall, we all got elected by you, the community, the county, and we represent you and what you request from us. We're not here to tell you what you need. We're here to ask you what you want. And then our goal is to try to make that happen. But we only represent you.
Thank you, Patty. One more thing about Jerry and I. Jerry and I, when there's a project or something going on, we go look. We get a road complaint, we drive out to it. If there's somebody planning a project, we're on that project. If they had a boiler out in the airport, we went to go look. Nothing gets spent unless we've seen our eyes on it. And that's a little discomforting for a lot of people in our county. Generally, county commissioners come in, they just get their little project, rubber stamp, don't pay attention to nothing. We're watching the books, we're watching the audits, we're watching the budget, we're on projects. It takes a lot of our time to do it. If I can't do it, Jerry tag teams. And Jerry can't, I go do it. And we talk between us, and other commissioners also talk with them. We keep our commissioner, the people we're involved, we try and keep them as informed as we can. But we don't always get that back. There's an awful lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we don't get feedback. We find out about it. We're not blind. Okay? So that's where we are. That's all I got to say, unless there's more questions, Jerry.
This is more than, the thing I want everybody in this room to understand, if Jerry Means can run for county commissioner, and I guarantee you, Mrs. Fitch is still wondering how Jerry put two words together. But in all honesty, anybody in this room can make a difference. And never be afraid that you don't have the right words. Just standing up is the most important thing. I was taught to stand up or shut up. There was only two options. Thank you very much.
Apply for boards. Thank you very much. Apply for boards. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was a lot of good information. We see results that are happening, oh gee whiz, on a political scale in this community and also on a religious scale also. We're seeing, I think, more and more people that are attending church on a Sunday now. Our attendance at New Life is up probably 260 every Sunday. So we're seeing evolution in politics, we're seeing evolution in religion, we're seeing, and you're seeing the news media saying that what is it, the Gen Z, they're actually reacquainting themselves with Christ. There's a movement going on. And there's a movement starting in Campbell County. And this document here, this one is well used. You can see that it's well used. I use this and the Bible in my business to introduce people to politics and to religion.
And so, Lyle, you want to share also that the new revival is mostly men.
Yeah, it is.
There's been the wives that cracked the whip.
Uh-huh.
Revival's coming from younger men.
And I do believe that you're going to see going into the future, actually, I used to sit on the board at Women's Resource Center. One of the best things I ever did to devote my time to something worthwhile. And at the time that I was on the board, Pastor Ed Sisti applied for board membership or whatever. Interviewing him, I asked him, and I think him and his wife are probably from New York or New Jersey or someplace like that. What? New Jersey. Is that what it is? New Jersey, okay.
I'm not there though.
You're glad you're not there. Yeah. And you're here to make sure that it doesn't happen here, right? Yeah, there you go. Anyway, I asked Pastor Ed Sisti during the interview, what brings you to Wyoming? And he said to me, looked at me and said, well, you know what a revival is? I said, I do. And he said, I believe there's going to be a transformation that starts right here. And I don't think he's wrong. It starts out slow. We always don't, we want things to happen a lot faster than they do happen, but it's happening. That's what's happening. And coming up in the next election, we need more people. We do, absolutely. Good example. That's a good example of when it went nationwide. We are being noticed. We're being noticed here. We're a bunch of rednecks, but we're being noticed. That's what it takes. And we've got a fine group here, and I've been to some of the meetings, that last quarterly planning presentation that you guys did. That was great. There's going to be one every quarter, is that correct?
Next one's August.
August, okay, August. It'll be great to see all of us there and bring as many friends and relatives as you can, because things are going to be happening in Wyoming. Thank you. Yeah, yes.
Library.
June 3rd, the Legislative Revenue Committee is meeting here in Gillette. So I don't know any more specifics. Nothing's on the site at this point of where it's going to be, but attend if you can. Show up. June 3rd, 3rd and 4th, June 3rd and 4th.